168.100.97 using a CIDR 27. And they said, what network does that IP fall in? What is the broadcast address that that IP has, and what range? So you need to know the network, the range, and the broadcast address. Okay, again, 27, this is all you need to focus on. 27 bits on. So you have X, that's 24 bits. Why do I put X's? I'm lazy, I don't feel like writing the numbers again. That's not going to change. So 24 bits on. 3 more, right? 25, 26, 27. And then we have 5 off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your line. That's it. So you need to find out what this increment is right here so you can increment, because your focus is the last octave. So once you find out the increment here, okay, that increment number, you know how to increment by. So what is that increment number? Well, the increment number is 32, because what? 128, 64, and 32. So we increment by 32. If we add these guys together, is 31. And have you noticed, this number here that we used to calculate for broadcast is always one number less than the network increment. I mean, yeah, you can add, you still be the same thing, but it's always one less. Now, I always get people that say, well, I don't do it that way. I do another math. I count with my toes. Listen, I don't care how you do it. Whatever is easiest for you, you go for it. The whole thing is to pass that certification. And because you know when you get out there to the real world, these IT guys, the majority of them don't know how to do this unless they've been working this for a long time. They use calculators, okay? But until you get there, you better know how to do this, okay? And for right now, this has been the easiest method. But anyway, so 32, and you need to get to 97. So let's find out. The first one is 32. I'm not using 0. You know there is network 0. That's what they need. They use the 0 network. Using the very first one and the very last one, okay? So I'm going to start with the increment 32, 64, 96, okay? If I increment one more time, that's going to be 128. I'm going to go over 97, so I have to stop there. Let's find out the broadcast. Well, 96 plus 31 is 127. What's in between? 97 and 126. You're done. So that IP address, that 97 IP address, falls in the range of 97 to 126, belongs to the 96 subnet, and has a broadcast address of 127. That's it. Again, the whole trick to this, which is really not a trick, is simply just finding the increment number, and then incrementing to that particular IP without going over. You could have gone over. I could have gone all the way to 128, and instead of adding 96 and 31, I could say 1 less 128 is 127. Well, it depends how you want to do it. But you got to make it quick, because when you go take that certification, I tell my guys, you got 30 seconds or less, okay, to answer any IP addressing question. Because where you want to focus on is EIGRP, NAT, access list, okay, switch questions, okay, like spanning tree. This is where you need to slow down, all right, and focus on what they're asking you, all right. One of the simulations that they've been giving lately, from what I gather when my students come out of the exam, is a 5-part question on show commands just on the switches. Looking for names and neighbors and all that. Show CDP neighbor, show MAC address table, show interface trunks. These are the things that they ask. These are the simulations where you need to pay attention to. EIGRP, there's an EIGRP thing that they're doing out there now, okay? Where you're just troubleshooting EIGRP. That is not as difficult. You better know how to configure. You better know how to configure. Now we're making videos on how to configure all this stuff. You can answer all the questions correct. You mess up, you screw up one configuration, it could be a possibility that you do not pass the CCNA. Alright? I do not believe in paper CCNAs. I do not believe in paper MCSEs. One thing is going to school, memorizing a bunch of stuff, just spitting it out when you get to a test. But once you get out there in the real world, you better know what you're doing. Because if I were to hire you, I wouldn't give you a written test. I'll put you in a room with switches, routers, PCs, and I'll make you do it. If you can't do it, see ya. Okay? So know this, because this is very simple, IPs. Let's just learn that and get that out of the way. But please, practice your configurations. But again, I'm going to make videos for that as well. Alright? So there's another way they can ask you that question.